Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Beauty Authority. I'm Tatiana Bido, NewBeauty's Director of Aesthetic Content. And I'm joined today by Sarah Creal, the beauty industry veteran behind some of the biggest luxury makeup brands and the founder of Sarah Creal Beauty, a line designed specifically for me, no, for women over 40 and my Gen X and elder millennial sisters and brothers out there. It's an amazing line, a new beauty favorite. So thank you, Sarah, for joining me today.
Yes, I'm so thrilled to be here, Tatiana. Thank you for having me.
I think you're the perfect person to talk about how we should change up our routine as we get older and the formulas that really, really work for our skin and our specific needs. But before we get into that, I
Yeah,
would love to know more about your background. As I said, you're a beauty industry
sure.
veteran
Yeah,
behind some of the biggest lines that we
yeah.
love. So if you could just give
Mhm.
us a little bit about your background and what inspired you
Sure.
to start your own line.
Sure thing. So I started my career working for Clinique at Bergdorf Goodman, standing behind the counter in sales. And that's important to know because I became a product developer when I was 23 and I started selling when I was 21, right after college. And what had that has done has informed the way that I develop products. So not only do I think about what the consumer needs, what the client needs, but I also think about how is the person selling the product going to sell it. And my basic philosophy is if I can't do it better than what it is already out there, there's no sense in doing it. You
Right.
know? So that's kind of, the first thing because I know how hard it is to sell a product and it's really got to be fantastic. But as I've gotten older, I have also identified much more with the vulnerability that it takes for the client to come and ask for help, no matter where that is. If it's in a wellness space, in a spa, in, you know, like a Sephora, in a department store, whatever it is, for her to ask for help, for her to say, I'm not feeling great about this. I'd like to change this, whatever it is. So I try to develop with her in or him in mind and just create the very best products that I can. My product development journey has been a long one. So because I'm 56 now, so I'm like 23 to 56, that's a long time as a product developer. And I have developed in that time, I developed the Tom Ford line. I did that with Charlotte
Yep.
Tilbury before Charlotte had her own line. She did all of the paleting. I did all of the formula development and sort of the idea of architecture of the face was
Yep.
sort of the tag. I was also for 5 years, I was the head of both product development and marketing for Bobby Brown. And
Mhm.
there she taught me so much. She's an amazing, amazing teacher. And she knows so much about makeup and makeup artistry and putting it on people. I had the
Right.
technical experience, but I didn't really have the human experience until I worked for her. And so I did that for 5 years. Then I also, I created like Erin Lauder's line. I did a couple of things for Estee Lauder, the brand. And ultimately I did some capsule collections for Victoria Beckham with Estee
Yeah.
Lauder. And that's where I met Victoria. And then ultimately she and I decided we were going to create our own business and do it independently. So I left Estee Lauder. I started Victoria Beckham Beauty as her co founder and CEO. And I did that until I decided it was time to create my own brand. So that was in
Was
2022 that I came up with the idea for this.
How was that making the jump? Because it's, not a different name, it's your name behind the brand. So
Yeah.
what was that like transitioning over to create
Mm,
now Sarah Creole Beauty and you being the face of it now?
yeah. Well, first of all, I never wanted my own line. Like this was never a goal for me, to be totally honest. I when I left Victoria Beckham, I was interested in creating a brand for, as I say, babes 40 plus, because I felt like
Mhm.
in the market, like there's stuff for 20-year-olds, there's stuff for 30-year-olds. And then you see pictures of like women who are clearly older. They're, like gray hair, wrinkles. It's
Mhm.
like telegraphing, like she is older, and I'm like, What about, like, all these amazing babes who are, you know, 40 to 60 and,
Yeah.
like, they have so much going on. So, I had this idea, but I was not going to call it my own name, and
Mm,
I couldn't get funding. The minute and I was surprised. I mean, I knew that of all fundraising that happens in the United States, I did understand that only about 2.5% goes to female-founded companies. But
mhm.
nevertheless, I was like, I have an amazing track record, to be honest, of making successful brands and even a
Yeah,
company with Victoria Beckham, like from scratch, which I did. She was in London. I made the company in the United States, you know? And
right.
I really thought I was going to be able to get funding. No. So I
Do you
then,
think it was the age range that you were targeting? Because
yep,
there
yep,
is a void, okay? But outside of
yep,
you, there aren't
right.
many other
No, there aren't
brands
any. There
that I
aren't
can
any brands.
that I can
No.
think of that are targeted, and especially in this way, because your products are super special. Not only
Yep.
are they formulated for this age group, they to me, I am just a beauty lover. I love how things look on my vanity. I love just, opening something and the architecture and the design
Yes.
behind it and feeling like I have something so special
Yeah.
is just, you can't change that feeling when
Right.
you, like, really bond with a product or a brand.
Right, right. Well, and, and that's really, like for me, just getting back to your question, like you and women like you are at the center of the brand. I say, like, my name is on it. And the reason my name is on it is because I had to go to my ex husband, not once, but twice to ask for
Mm,
money. I put in my
mm.
own money first. And when that
Yeah,
party ran out, I went to him because I was like, I need one investor to jump in the pool. I had never raised money before. And I was told if I get one person to jump in the pool, then the rest will follow, which was true.
yeah.
But I went to him the second time and he was like, all right, I will think about it. And he had said no initially because he's in the music business. And he's like, I
Mm,
don't know anything about beauty. And I'm like, you don't have to. I do. I just need your
right.
money. So he came back to me and
Smart
he
man,
was like, I
though.
will. Yeah. Yeah. Well, what was really smart though is he said to me, I will do this on one condition. And that is that you call it by your name. And I was like, why is that? And he said to me, because even though nobody knows who Sarah Creal is, they will Google you. And when they Google you, they will see that you have actually been a product developer for 30 years, that you have
Yeah,
actually done it. He's like, a lot of these brands that have names that don't mean anything, it's because the people behind them have never done this before. He's
right.
like, and you have. So you need to get credit for it. And it's a piece of credibility. But the way I think of this brand is yes, my name is on it. I obviously take it incredibly seriously. I don't take myself very seriously. If anybody knows me, they know that I just really don't take myself that seriously. But anyway, I have my name on it. And it's really that I'm just using my 23, 25 years of product development, deep experience to deliver products that are going to service her. That's
Yeah.
the way I see my name on this.
Well, you have succeeded, and anyone in my age group, or anyone really, I don't really limit it to 40 plus. I
Yeah.
think the products are so good and the formulas are so skin
Thank you.
friendly that they stand on their own. But just for us to have something special for ourselves
Mhm.
marketed to us is just,
Yes.
so unique.
Yes.
We're sort of Gen X is kind of like the forgotten generation, right? Everybody talks
It's
about millennials, everybody talks about Gen Z, and here we are, we're like, "Pretty woman, take my money, please."
right.
You know?
Well, right. And I, when I came up with this idea, I did a survey of 2,000 women, luxury
Mm,
beauty shoppers in the US, just to see, does she actually have a hard time finding products that are meant for her? And the
yeah.
answer came back resounding yes. And I knew it from my time at Victoria Beckham because I was getting DMs. Can Sarah
Mhm.
wear this? Like they just weren't sure. So I thought if I create an entire line that takes the guesswork out of it for her. Like she knows I am not only formulating for her, but I'm also only testing on babes 40 to 65, which is like twice as expensive as normal clinical
And
studies.
unheard
Yeah,
of.
that's why people don't do it because it's twice as expensive. But
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't give a shit. This has to be right. We have to make something that she can believe in. And I want her to believe in this brand. And the only way that I can make sure I mean, I'd love it if everybody would just take my word for it. But she's, I have to have clinical studies, that say,
Right.
like, Moisture Source, one of my favorite products, this multitasking liquid moisturizer. This holds hydration in your skin, one application for 24 hours. And if you use
Yeah.
it for 4 weeks, it increases your baseline hydration by 45. And that's on an older demographic where your moisture barrier is already damaged. It's harder to get those kinds of claims.
And I love too that this particular product is sort of a one and done outside of your SPF, right?
Yeah,
Because
that's
we
right.
are inundated with ads for different serums and different
Mm,
things that, you need 5 or 6 steps just to walk out the door. So,
no,
having
no,
something and with as we age, our skin dries up. So that
right.
moisture is so needed.
That's
It's
right.
almost like a drink of a glass of water for your thirsty skin.
It is, but unlike a lot of serums, which are water-based, this is a dual phase. So,
Mhm.
I don't know if you can see it in the light, but it has a
Yeah.
water phase and then it has an oil phase on top. And the way that why it works so well is that the water phase, which holds
Mhm.
peptides, niacinamide, and hyaluronic acid, that goes into the skin. And then the oil phase, which is squalane, which is high
Mhm.
quality squalane from olives, seals it all in. And it
Mhm.
doesn't make your face greasy. It just makes your skin glowy, bouncy every day. And it's just a beautiful formula that actually holds hydration in and it doesn't
Oh my
cheat to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've been using it and I feel like I look glowy and
You do look
all nat
glowy.
I
Yes.
love it.
Yes.
Let's talk about what you found as you were formulating these products. What are some of the biggest concerns that we face as we age, and
Yes.
how did that inform how you developed your formulations?
Yeah. I mean, one of the key things was really that as you get older, like, the difference for formulating on a young skin is that's like formulating on a rubber mat, okay? It's smooth, it's bouncy, it's uniform, great. When you start formulating on skin like my age, it is much more it's thinner and it's more crinkly. It's like formulating on tissue paper. So if you think of it that way, you have to understand that all of your formulas need to be incredibly lightweight. You cannot
Mm,
have they have to be formulated in an expert way to be thin filmed, to still have coverage, like with our Face Flex, which is our
yes,
concealer, our new Face Flex
which is a
Correct.
New Beauty it's a New Beauty award-winning product. We love
That's
it. We
right.
love our face
That's right.
masks.
This is an award-winning product, I think one of the reasons that women love it so much is because it has this thin film,
Mhm,
yet it provides amazing coverage and it
mhm.
just melts into the skin. So, you literally need like a dot, a dot, a dot, and it just gives I just like to show it on myself because it just
Yeah,
blends right into the skin, gives
and
you
you need the
all
brush.
I
Sorry,
love this brush.
I tell everybody you need the brush. Don't
Yeah.
skimp, get the brush. Yes.
Get the brush because I formulated the brush I mean, formulated, I designed the brush to go in to this
Mhm.
kidney area, and
Yeah.
so it has this way of being like, sort of a mitered edge like that, like
Mhm.
it's a graduated edge so that you can put it this way and you get the inside where most people don't understand that's really where your darkness is. So you can
Mm.
see how much this makes my skin look smoother, brighter, and just more alive.
Yeah.
But
And I do
what
the
I
same. I
learned
kind of press instead of
yeah,
dragging. I sort of
yeah.
just press it in.
So people do it all different ways. Some
Yeah.
people put it on the back of their hand and then they load the brush and then they press, press, press. You can do it all kinds of ways, but a brush makes the experience much more fun and
Yeah.
pleasurable.
Yeah,
But what
and it
I learned
doesn't settle in my lines.
no,
So that is a
this
huge, huge differentiator with a lot of other
yes,
concealers that I use. It's
yes,
just it's called
that's
Flex for a reason.
that's right. It's the polymers
Yeah.
that I used, it's the way that the pigments are treated. They have special coatings on them so that they really float on top of the skin, so that the entire product can you can smile, you can laugh, all of
Mhm.
this, and then and it flexes back. So it gives 12-hour crease-proof wear, and that's why it's such a superstar. But what I realized in developing all of these formulations is that if it looks good on an older skin, it's going to look good on a younger skin,
Right.
which is like kind of a duh, no-brainer, but you know, young skin looks great with everything. And so the converse is not true. You can't put something on young skin and have it look good on older skin. But
Right.
if you're formulating for older skin like I am and making things more elegant, more streamlined, more lightweight in just their film forming capabilities, it doesn't have anything to do with coverage. It's just the way that I've made the actual formulas float on the skin. They
And
set
can you talk a little bit about your color correcting option with Face
Yes,
Flex?
absolutely. So, okay, so I got to the point where myself concealer was just not really enough. I was like still on days, especially because I've got hormone changes. There are nights that I'm not sleeping well, whatever it is, that there were days that a concealer was just not enough. And I realized I was still kind of getting the blue gray through
Mhm.
the concealer. So
Mhm.
my point is, when do you need a corrector? You need a corrector. And the difference for me and my brand is that the concealer is gold capped and the corrector is silver. I love a
Mhm.
mixed metal moment. So, so the correctors are what you use. It's a sister formula to the concealer. And so the way that you use this is just a little dot
Mhm.
and then you let it dry down. So little dot, and I mean little, baby. Only where you
Baby dot.
really have yeah, only where you really have that blue darkness.
So
And
I
then
have a melasma patch up
yeah,
here, so
yeah,
that would be the right
that's
product to use over that, but I would still use my
absolutely.
concealer I would still use my Face Flex everywhere else.
That's right. And you would use your Face Flex over your Face Flex Correct
Right.
because you are canceling like melasma or dark circles with the corrector. You are canceling that
Yeah.
discoloration. You can see here, now I'm like too bright. It's too bright, to
Mhm.
leave alone. So I need to follow that with my corrector, I mean, my concealer, but I don't need nearly as much, not nearly as much.
Yeah.
And then this,
Love
so you
it.
would use this then over your corrector and then over your melasma spots. And then this is when you get your skin tone shade and the entire thing just blends. And I use a little under my nose, and a little in the center of
I
my
love
face.
I love seeing the transformation in real time.
Right? Yeah, I
Yes.
know. I purposely came on looking slightly haggard because I'm like,
No,
I'll just show you,
you look
you know,
gorgeous.
I'll show you how the products actually perform.
So, what is one thing that you hear a lot or you've noticed when someone says, "My makeup is making me look older"? What is one thing you recommend to people to switch out or start doing?
Well, a lot of times, I mean, in that survey that I did of 2,000 women, I've just learned so much. I asked them what their pain points were, and their pain points are really I can't keep hydration in my skin. So I created Moisture Source. I know I need to wear SPF and it has to be a high SPF, but I don't want to.
Mhm.
They all feel terrible. And I'm like, okay, I'm making an SPF 50, which is a mineral sunscreen. This is called
Mhm.
Brilliant Repair Shield. But again, Tatiana, I'm like, I don't have time for a lot of
No.
steps. I don't. And I don't have the patience either. So I would rather what I'm doing is putting everything that you need into one formula. Like with Moisture
Right.
Source peptides, niacinamide, hyaluronic acid, squalane, check. And I know like my dermatologist loves this product because it does so
Yeah.
much for it's an SPF 50 using only zinc, okay? Zinc
Mhm.
oxide, and it has bakuchiol, which is amazing for repair.
Yeah.
It has antioxidant capabilities. It protects against pollution and blue light and is obviously broad spectrum because it's a mineral sunscreen. So,
Right.
and then I'm going to show you just on my hand, it gives a glowy tint.
Yeah.
So,
Love it.
this this is called Vacation,
This is what
and
makes you look alive before you
yes,
walk out the
that's right. And it gives it just a little bit of coverage, but it's the most beautiful, beautiful, just sort of slight bronzy glow. And now that we're going into summer, it's for me, it's really like people are so used to sunscreens giving you a white cast, like mineral sunscreens giving you a white cast.
Yeah.
And this is the opposite. So I have it in this shade Vacation, and I have a lighter shade that's just a neutral beige called
Mhm.
Staycation. And really, like these two products plus the eye cream, and you are firm offer, which I know you have, that is something
Love
that is,
this
yeah,
packaging, and this is such a great formula also. And you
yes,
know what I
that
love?
is,
Everything has a little bit of a radiance, right?
yes,
Or,
that's
you
right.
know, there's
To restore the
there's a
glow.
glow, right? We're trying that's what we're trying to do here because a lot of times as you age, you'll notice your skin just starts looking a lot duller and there's not a lot of things. I have tried to, DIY myself into a glowier look and I
Yeah,
end up just ruining my skin.
I know.
So I love that at every step of putting on my makeup, doing my skincare, at the foundation is this glowy, dewy look.
That's
That's
right.
what we need.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what we need. And thank you. Thank you. So, but I would say, one of the things that it's the glow that we need to restore when you ask, like, what are the things that as you get older, you need to sort of pay attention to? And why do you look more tired? One of them is making sure that you've got this glow finish, but not greasy. You don't wanna
Right.
look like you're sweating. And
No.
so, like, Gen X and millennial, like, you've gotta get to a place where the glow is right. So I spend a
Right.
lot of time making sure that the glow is right, of the right
A
level.
and we're not just covering things up, right?
No,
We're
no.
actually treating the
Treating.
concern right at the root.
That's right. We're treating as we're using, like, even the corrector and concealer, right? This contains caffeine to depuff. It's got lactobacillus, which is amazing for triggering collagen and elastin. It has aloe, which is soothing. I'm making everything a skincare base.
Yeah,
The
this
balm, I was just gonna say the bronzing
I was gonna
balm.
say your bronzer is a New Beauty Award winner for 2026 and
Yes.
it has peptide in the formulation, so you're not just getting color, you're
Yeah. No,
getting skin-loving ingredients.
that's right. It's got 5 different types of peptides
Yeah.
in this formula. It's really a peptide base, and I made this in Korea, and it just gives the most wonderful, natural bronzy
Mhm.
glow.
And
It's
for people who aren't really familiar, we know why peptides are important, but why was it important to make peptides a hero ingredient in some of your products?
Yeah, in most of my products, I have peptides because they're really some of the most efficacious reparative ingredients that are out there.
Mhm.
So they really help to rebuild collagen and elastin, and
Yeah,
that's why you want them in your formulas.
and we want them in our bronzer.
Yes, we want them in our bronzer, and I'm like, "Of course, we're gonna have them." I'm gonna put this, like, I put it under my jawline also, and I'm using the
Mhm.
dual contour brush, which I
Yeah,
also recommend getting because it just makes the
obsessed
whole
with your brushes.
Thank you. Our brushes are selling like crazy
They're
because like,
amazing.
I did all the Tom Ford brushes. I did brushes with Bobby Brown. I know a thing or two about how to make a good brush. But what I think was missing in the market is
Mm,
like just the help. Just like women need help on,
yeah,
okay, for this product, what kind of brush is the best brush? Well,
yeah,
this kind of graduated kabuki on one side is amazing. And then on this side, you can do a little contour down your nose, which I do
yeah.
sometimes, right? And then you can also do a little bit above your
And I love that little part of the
your
brush because I run it down here along my jawline just to get a
your
little added definition. Because as we get older, we kinda lose a little bit down here.
Oh, we sure do. We
Yeah,
sure do. I mean,
things
yes,
things
I'm
start
much
going
older than you
south.
are, and so believe me, I'm doing it like this now.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
but,
let's talk about eyes because
yep,
this is a huge category. We talked about the eye
here,
cream, which is
yeah,
in one of my favorite packages of all time. It looks like a cigarette lighter, and
yes,
it's so chic. I wanna
yeah.
just pull it out all the time and show off. But
I know, and that's refillable package. We sell the refills on sarahcrealbeauty.com, which is amazing, but that is it's a 4-in-1 eye cream. So it's giving brightening immediately. It brightens because what I learned in my research was that women were like, "I don't think eye cream really works." And I'm
right,
like, "Eye cream totally works. It's just that if you don't see results fast enough, then they stop using it." So
exactly.
my thought was, if I can give you an eye cream that makes you look instantly better, then you are going to continue to use it, which is what ended up happening with Firm Offer. So it's brightening immediately and it acts as a great primer under any kind of concealer. But the fact that it makes you look better immediately, I call it the walk the dog eye cream.
Mm.
You can walk
Yep,
your dog, you can go to Soul Cycle, do yoga, go out in the world, go grocery shopping, run errands, whatever it is. You don't have to do like a full face, just a little Firm Offer, and you feel brighter and more ready to face the day?
yeah,
And again, that's where like I'm always thinking about women. I'm always
yeah.
thinking about like, what are they doing? How do they move through the world? What do they need? But this also has peptides, caffeine, etc. So
And this is Back of the Cab, which is my favorite mascara. It's a tubing mascara, and
yeah,
right now, I'm having the worst time with dry eye. It's making me rub my eyes, rub my makeup off,
yes,
and I'm noticing it too because my eyes are hooding that a lot of my eye makeup starts to travel. So,
that's right.
this has been a solution. I don't have to do anything else. This gives me
Yeah.
definition with my lashes, which are also disappearing.
I know. I know.
But since it's a tubing mascara, it's easy for me to take off. It gives
Yeah.
me length, it gives me definition. It is a game changer. I highly recommend for anyone over 40 that is
Yes.
having an issue with their eyes. And we can talk
Yes.
about the eyeliner too, because that's another
Yes.
part. Yeah.
Well, I do think, when you ask the question, like, what makes, what should women change that's making them feel older? And I think one of the things is that as you get older, if you don't change like to a tubing mascara, and I just launched this new eye pencil called Eyes
Okay.
Up. And yeah, and I formulated this for people with dry eye and sensitive eyes. And
Mhm.
it's waterproof, it's 24-hour wear, it's safe for the waterline, it's ophthalmologist tested, the whole thing. And I
Yeah.
tested it only on women 40 to 65 who had self-selected sensitive eyes. And
Mm.
it just nailed every test because women are so psyched. It took me 2 years to formulate this product. But both of these together, they make you look more bright-eyed,
Mhm.
more wide awake, and the fact that over the day, it's not gonna travel under your
Right.
eye means that you are going to look fresher for the whole day? And I say that all the time. I wanna make makeup that keeps up with her because
And a
she's on
lot
the
of
move.
times too sorry. A
No.
lot of times too, a harsher, more defined eye can age you. So I
Right.
love that there's a little brush at the end to help blend it out, just
That's
as
right.
it's setting, and
Yes.
you can smoke out your eye, you can get a little definition. There's so much you can do,
Yeah.
and the colors are phenomenal.
Yes, and get the sharpener, people. Get the
Yeah,
sharpener. I'm selling it for $5, which is literally what I pay for it. But
yeah,
I had it German engineered to work on this formula so that it's really easy and beautiful, but, and that you get a sharp, beautiful point. So this is a
yeah.
shade called Everyday Taupe, and this is now our second best-selling shade. Rich Cocoa is our
Mm,
first best-selling shade. Everyday Taupe is our second. And I really think it's exactly what you're talking about, Tatiana. Women are very excited to have something that is not black.
right.
And by calling it everyday taupe, they also I'm trying to help them guide them. Like, this is
Mhm.
when you use this. You can use this every day. It's a really easy, beautiful look.
Yeah, gorgeous, and I
So,
love too that you can grab 2 things and I'm done, you know? We keep
yes.
talking
And I
about
was
making our lives easier. You
Yeah,
get a
exactly.
complete eye look with just 2 products.
Right. And I I just put this on and you have 30 seconds. You can make this an eyeshadow easily. You just
Mm,
blend it. Okay? You just blend it. I can show you on my own eye if you want to see a little demo.
yeah, I had never
It's
thought of that.
it's the best because now you have an eyeshadow and I use my finger to do this because it's
Yeah,
so easy. And now you have an eyeshadow that won't crease and won't move for 24 hours. And
love it.
that is in a humid, hot summer.
It's magic if it I mean, it's so blendable, but
Yeah.
also then it doesn't budge.
No, it doesn't budge, but do one eye at a time. Do one eye at a time because it gives you about 30 seconds and then it sets and then it's done. It's set. But it won't dry over the day. I mean, this is why it took me 2 years because I was so maniacal about how does this actually how does this actually look over your full day?
I love
And
it.
so you can do this with one shade like I'm doing now, and it just gives you, like a soft smoky eye.
Yeah,
Nothing
and
harsh,
you
nothing.
also have that gold shade that you
Yes,
can incorporate too.
I love the gold shade. It's called Golden, and I
Mhm.
don't think right by me here, do I? No, I don't. I have it in the other room probably. But the golden shade is amazing as an inner corner highlight.
Mhm.
Also great on your inner waterline. Instead of doing that like old trick with like a white pencil,
Right.
you do it with golden and it just is more subtle, more pretty, gives like the light and the lift, but it's not obvious.
Okay, last question for you.
Yes.
What if someone is new to your line, what are
Mhm.
the top 3 products they should try first?
Oh my gosh, that is so hard. Okay.
Isn't
I
it?
would act I would actually say moisture source. Use this twice a day on clean skin, morning and night, and see your skin change. You have to
Mhm.
shake it before you use it, and the way that this works is that it's a dropper, and you need, like,
Mhm.
5 drops, and that will cover your entire face. And then I put it, of course, on my neck. Yeah, it's just great. So, I would say moisture source, the
Yep,
mascara, back of the cab, which
agree.
also we call this the pregnant mascara because it doesn't roll off your vanity.
Oh, I love
Which
that.
you could tell, like, designed by a woman for women, and then I would try the eyeliner. If you have given up eyeliner, you're like, "I don't use eyeliner anymore, it gets all over the place," give Eyes Up eyeliner a try because it's going to make you fall back in love with eyeliner.
And then I lied. One more question because I do love the
I
packaging so
also lied
much.
because if
What
you
do
don't pick up Flex, you're crazy.
you have to get you have to get it. It
It's
is
really
and
hard, it's really hard.
it's already a cult classic. It's already a cult classic,
It's
so,
it's amazing, it's amazing the word of mouth on this product is crazy
yeah.
from just, like,
But
friend to friend.
my final question because I'm a Libra. I love aesthetics. I love packaging,
Yeah,
anyone who is really into beauty, that's just one of the perks, right? Is just
right.
how beautiful products can really be
Yes.
and how we collect them almost like, little tokens. So, what is your non-negotiable? What is your philosophy or your approach behind your packaging design?
I worked with this incredibly talented industrial designer, and I said to him, "I want to take the excitement and the beauty and the color and the fun of fragrance, and I wanna put it into color and skincare." And my philosophy is we know way too much. There is no anticipation left in the world. Like,
Mhm,
everybody knows everything, and I would like to create a line where you don't know that when we launched lipstick, it was gonna look like this, you know?
mhm.
That this would
Yeah,
be the look of the lipstick in
right.
general, you know? It's resonant with Face Flex, which had already launched, with this sort of architectural look, right? My
Yes.
dad was an architect, so I think that's informed
That
things a
makes
little bit.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that makes
Yeah.
so much sense. Yeah.
Doesn't it? I know. He's no longer with us. He's passed away, but I think he would be very happy to see the way that this line looks.
Yeah.
But this is then the lip gloss.
I
And,
love
it's like, but things that make sense are the radius, which is meaning the curve of this cap
Mhm.
is the exact same radius as the curve of the
Uh,
moisture source cap. So so your brain says, "Oh, these things actually do go together." Even
right.
though at first glance you're like, "Okay, she's kind of looking insane. She's looking a little crazy."
No, but there is a, a line that I can see through all the different products and all the
Yes.
designs and the cap and the ridges. It's just
Yes.
really beautifully done,
Thank
and I
you. Thank you,
appreciate it
Tatiana.
so much. I love that they all work the way I want them to work, but they
Yes.
look beautiful. Everybody goes, "What is that?" You know? "Can I
Yes.
see that?
I know.
Where did you get that?"
Where did you get that? What is that? What is
Yeah,
that even? I know, I know. And then, like, the new blush, which is
yes,
a blurring hybrid formula. I mean, people are insane about this. My
yeah.
sister wore this. She's in the interior design business, and she wore this at a furniture convention. And people were like they were like, "What is this? What do you have on your face?" And because it just gives the most again, it's like super I made a brush for this too, of
Yeah,
course. It's just super easy. It's mistake proof. And the way that this formula works, again, with peptides and vitamin E, with a blurring sort of semi powder finish. It's a
yeah.
hybrid cream powder. It's a
I'm
very,
wearing
very
I'm
different
wearing it
formula.
right now just very lightly, and then when
Yeah.
we get off, I'll put more on before I run out the door.
Right. Well, now I've
Yeah,
got a ton of makeup on because I really wanted to show you everything,
it looks gorgeous.
but thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. But it's my pleasure making this line for women. It
Well,
really,
thank you so much
really
for making this line and for giving us something to be excited about in makeup again and for creating things that we do wanna collect. So,
yes.
thank you so
Well,
much for coming on and speaking with New Beauty today. I think you filled a void that, we have had for a really long time, so I'm excited
yeah,
that we get to share your story more and talk about all of the reasons behind, your formulation. So,
behind
thank you.
all of these things. Thank you so much, Tatiana. It's really
No
just wonderful to be here. Thank you for giving
No,
me the
thank you.
opportunity.
Thank you so much, and thank you, everyone. Until next time.
Bye, everybody.